Well, the United Nations drew the fury of Israel after October 7th when its leadership and various agencies refused for months to even acknowledge the existence of accusations made against Hamas of carrying out rape during its massacre in Israel. Well, the UN fact-finding mission went to Israel a few weeks ago and compiled a report. It was released on Monday, and the report stating that there is indeed clear and convincing information compiled that rape did occur on that fateful day and continues to occur against hostages being held in Gaza.
We also found that there are reasonable grounds to believe that conflict-related sexual violence, including rape and gang rape, occurred during the 7th of October attacks in at least 3 locations, namely the Nova Music Festival site and its surroundings, Road 232, and Kibbutz Reim. And in most of these incidents, victims were first subjected to rape and then killed. And at least 2 incidents relate to the rape of women's corpses. With regard to the hostages taken to Gaza, we found clear and convincing information that sexual violence, including rape, sexualized torture, cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment, has been committed against captives. And we also have reasonable grounds to believe that such violence may still be ongoing against those still held in captivity.
The UN Secretary General's Special Representative on Sexual Violence and Conflict, Pramila Patten, took with her to Israel 9 experts in fields such as forensics and sexual trauma. They interviewed 33 Israeli officials, 34 survivors of the October 7th massacre, along with first responders and members of international NGOs operating in Israel. They viewed some 5,000 photographs and other documents, along with 500 videos, including those made by Hamas members themselves documenting their atrocities on October 7th. All in all, the team felt they still had difficulties in compiling a complete report.
Based it on our own assessment of the credibility and reliability of the witnesses that we met. But we also verified the sources, cross-referenced the relevant material and information, and assessing whether in all the circumstances that there was sufficient, credible, and reliable information to make a finding.
Now, while Patten and her team were not able to directly interview any victims of rape on October 7th itself due to continuing trauma treatment, she told I-24 News she's leaving the door open to going back and interviewing them once they're well enough and to talk to any hostages who may be released. She said it's up to the Israeli government now to make sure that gets done.
I have made a recommendation in the report to encourage the government of Israel to sign a framework of cooperation with my office, which then could, if there is such a framework of cooperation, that would include certainly support to survivors of sexual violence. That could eventually pave the way because victims take time.
What actually does come next at this point? Patten said her mission was merely fact-finding and informative in nature. It doesn't have legal consequences. That should be turned over, she says, to the Commission of Inquiry on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict set up by the Human Rights Council of the United Nations. But Israel has said repeatedly that that commission is hopelessly biased against Israel and populated with anti-Semitic members. They want nothing to do with that commission. Nevertheless, Patten's report has been turned over to UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres and the UN Security Council. The Israeli government is urging action by UN leadership on this issue going forward. Reporting from the United Nations, Mike Wagenheim, I-24 News.